The response of pass.
Good morning, good morning. Because it's Groundhog Day. Yes, get out there and shake that hog. God, how's it going, guys? How's it going? It's the same shit, different day. Bitcoin sitting at 67,000. Calling for baseline bear last night. You guys know, tired of winning.
You're gonna win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
So tired of winning. Call for baseline bear right down the center as per usual. Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day. Okay. How's it going, guys, in the chat? Brandon White here. How's it going? Good morning, Chaos peeps. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Chaos. Cliff as well. Good morning, my dog. G-Dog in the house. And, of course, the Chaos crew. How's it going, Chaos crew, this morning? We're surviving, right? We're surviving. Gamma God is also here, sharing the love. Grand Rising Otaku and Chaos family. Hope everyone is doing well. Coming from, yes, Gigi in the house. Hope we got that coffee, man. I got that coffee this morning. Oh, I woke up way too early. Way too early. 5 o'clock in the morning. I haven't been able to sleep since. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Crypto Quint. Baseline, baseline, baseline. Yeah. 67K. A bunch of babies. 100%. I agree with you there. Babies. They're babies. That's exactly what we're dealing with this morning. Everyone, of course, sold off because Michael Saylor sold 30 coins. 30 coins. The market for the stock market right still sitting around 7,600. Sitting at all-time highs. I mean, this is ridiculous, guys. And crypto remains oversold as well. Cool. Let's dive into crypto sentiment, I guess. Let's take a look and see what's going on with Bitcoin right out the gate before we get into all the TradFi noise. Right now, brought to you by Kim of the White Snowland, showing you the live heat map for free. You can see that there's a little bit of bullishness this morning. That's at least pleasant to see, right? Let's dive in and take a closer look and see what's going on. Overall, volume is about flat pretty much between the bulls and the bears at about $14-15 billion back and forth in the last 24 hours. What is going on with this damn thing? Come on. Okay, yeah, do the thing. Okay, there we go. Diving in here, you can see like I said, the volume is pretty much flat between the bulls and the bears, 14 against 15 billion. Bears are setting up shop now to defend 67.3. That's going to be 3. You know it's going to be 3. It's always 3. 67.3. We're about to hit our head on that, possibly in the next 45 minutes or so. And we have no real clear area of support other than about 67 flat right now. And of course, we lose this area, we're coming back down a little bit lower. But as you can see on the daily, we're starting to build up a little bit higher now within the last 3 or 4 hours. Looking pretty good on so far on the daily to keep that momentum going on all the key levels. I do like seeing that. A little bit of a reversal possibly in Bitcoin's favor coming out of the gate this morning on Wednesday, guys. Happy Wrecked Wench Wednesday. Yes, happy Wrecked Wench Wednesday. We do have the Patreon live, of course, at the end of today. Again, at right around 9:30 after the evening live stream tonight for the Chaos crew. Looking at the weekly, we are still seeing, I guess, more bearishness still. We haven't flipped this bullish just quite yet. But yeah, we are starting to build a little bit more here within the last 24 hours, a little bit higher to about 75,000 possibly coming soon for the bears to defend a little bit higher. Bulls are setting up pretty much a hard level right now at about 65 for support. If we do end up losing that, because you can really zoom in here and see the heat is starting to really start to radiate here within the last 24 hours. So again, teeny tiny bit of bullishness setting up for possibly a reversal. Again, it's too soon to tell if this is going to be where we bounce, but we did pretty much hit our first level of support last night, or I guess yesterday afternoon. And the overall move for me Still is a bit more pain possibly coming soon within the later weeks in the month, of course, for June and possibly into July if we do or do not get clarity. Of course, time will tell. We're still heading into our bear case scenario on Bitcoin. We already passed our base case scenario for a pullback and a bounce. But, I mean, we came down a little bit too quick. Maybe we could see a little bit of recovery here. I'm not going to cut it. I'm not going to, cancel it out just yet. But as of right now, we are still heading into our bear case scenario on Bitcoin for a possible double bottom around $60,000 if we even hit that low, right? Again, the overall market cap matters. What time are we at? I got 4 minutes left, damn it. Too much ranting this morning. Again, if you guys heard me say this so many times, yeah, market cap matters. That's why market cap matters. 2.19 trillion, of course, is where we bounced it the first time at 60K, the second time at 63, and possibly this time at 65. We got really close in the last 24 hours. We did hit about 2.28 trillion, I believe, was the low seen so far. Right now sitting at current market cap at 2.32, coming up a little bit from this morning. You can see if I zoom in down here, 2.27 was the new low for the month of June. Again, the last time we did hit these levels, we saw the wreckage that happened, of course, back here in February and March. All right, that's of course, guys. Keep paying attention to the market cap. That's why it matters. Okay, let's get back into some TradFi. Yeah, we got 2 more minutes until, of course, the opening bell. I got a couple minutes here. Trump says Iran agreed to not have nuclear weapons, but they can change their mind. They can change their mind. I don't know if he let that open so they can change their mind or what. The Iranian regime has agreed not to have nuclear weapons. President Donald Trump told the New York Post Pod Force One podcast, and he added that Tehran can still change their mind. I did have to say that we have to do something about Iran, because regardless of how well we'll be doing economically, we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. He said in an interview when it was published on Wednesday, we already agreed they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And when they asked to confirm the Iranian regime had agreed to the term, Trump said, oh yeah, they've agreed to that. I mean, they could change their mind. But that was one of the things that they had to agree to. They've agreed to that, and that was a big thing. All right, trust us, bro. Right? Trust the current White House administration. Trust us, bro. They agreed to it. I don't know if I believe anything that comes out of either party, but more along the lines of our own, of course, here in the States lately. U.S.-Iran intensifies attacks as ceasefire phrase. Peace talks stall. Of course, we got to see another attack last night, within 10 or 12 hours ago. Iran launched several ballistic missiles toward the regional neighbors, although none had hit their intended targets. The United States said Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps attacked the U.S. 5th Fleet headquarters, air bases, and helicopters. And U.S. forces defeated multiple Iranian ballistic missiles and drones, of course, launched last night. Quick little update there. And we got to get over to opening bell here in about 1 minute and 10 seconds. They have probably another minute for another headline. I saw one this morning. I think they pulled it. But it wasn't looking good for, there it is. SpaceX. SpaceX is now worth less than half of its 1.75 trillion IPO target. Morningstar says, Morningstar analysts believe SpaceX is significantly overvalued ahead of its blockbuster IPO. That's what I've been saying since the very beginning of all this. The analysts say that XAI poses a material threat of value destruction to the company with its economic moat. Intermediate. I still feel like something's going to come out of this. Probably going to be a rug pull. Morningstar values SpaceX at $780 billion, which is roughly 48% below its private market valuation at about $1.5 trillion. SpaceX is expected to start trading on the Nasdaq just over 2 weeks, but the Morningstar analysts have warned that Elon Musk's tech behemoth is significantly overvalued. Okay, we got to get over there, guys. They're going to, of course, ring the bell here in a second. Oh yeah, by the way, Bruce Van Swan said from Citizens Financial Group said this.
Have had to be over the last 5 or 6 years with lots of challenges in the macro environment, has been adaptable and resilient.
Everything's adaptable and resilient right now, guys. Don't worry about the bubble. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
What are you, stupid?
All right, let's get over the, we're going to open the bell.
On the S&P, 0.2%, but we closed at almost 76.20. on the S&P in the cash trade yesterday. Obviously, another new record for the S&P. The NASDAQ futures actually gaining a little bit as we continue to feel the reverberations of Jensen Huang at that Taipei conference, Computex. At the New York Stock Exchange, you see Applied Aerospace and Defense ringing the opening bell. It's so cool that Lynn Martin goes up there on the balcony with them to do that every day. So they have an IPO today. Down at the NASDAQ market site, you've got Scripps. There's the spelling bee winner. This kid spelled, I think, 32 words in 90 seconds in the lightning round. That's insane. That's less than 3 seconds per word. I would ask him, why does Scripps have 2 P's? Like, how do you pronounce that differently with 1 P or 2 P's?
College and he won't
Unfortunately
have a
for them, the stock is down 84% in the past 5 years. In terms of the stocks that we're watching today, Macy's is the big retail earnings news. The shares are gaining more than 4% because they boosted their forecast for the year. They see growth in their luxury business. That is, of course, Bloomingdale's right across the street from us here at 731 Lex. So Macy's is up today. Palo Alto Networks had been up big after raising its guidance. It was gaining 13% before a turnaround and now a drop of 5%. I guess didn't meet expectations or buy the rumor, sell the news. And Marvell Technology right now up 9% in the cash trade, surging again. This after NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang said back on Monday that this company could be a $1 trillion company. Joining me now is Crossmark Global Investments Chief Market Strategist Victoria Fernandez. And Victoria, as we watch Marvell continue to gain from this, I mean, Jensen Huang has sent so many companies soaring in the last week at the Computex conference in Taipei. How much do you see this which was once a narrow rally, like broadening out across the market?
Yeah, good morning, Matt. It is interesting. We had such an AI-focused rally going on in the markets, and we are just now starting to see some of it move around. I mean, you're starting to see some transportations do better. You're starting to see aerospace and defense. And two of the areas that I'm really interested in watching is you're starting to see a little bit of a relative turnaround in healthcare and in discretionary. And as you and I have talked before, that discretionary versus staples ratio, that has been bottom of the barrel for quite a long period of time. Discretionary was just not performing well off those oversold conditions, and you needed that to have the consumer continue to be strong. We needed that for the economy, and so now we're just now starting to see that. So hopefully this broadening continues, and we get to see more of the non-AI part of the economy catch up.
Now, before we see that, I want to just point out Alphabet is boosting its equity capital raise. It was already a...
I'm curious to see where Walmart is this morning. But anyway, let's get back over to Kramer and Friends. I'm going to get back into SpaceX IPO
4
details.
consecutive quarters of sales growth. Congratulations to Macy's.
Tony Springer's doing a great job, but I really do want to focus on Blue Owl.
We're back, guys, in the concern about the redemption cycle for both private credit and, interestingly, and perhaps this adds a new wrinkle, private equity. We've been talking for quite some time, Jim, about the fact that certainly there were concerns about private credit, and we've seen redemptions rise far above the 5% typically in any given quarter that they're able to return to investors in these semi-liquid instruments. But we're also dealing with this, partners. This is not private credit. This is a private equity fund. This is a Swiss company whose stock, by the way, is down about 18% on this news. Another one of these evergreen funds, right, where they also were forced to cap redemptions because...
All right. Getting back with you guys in the chat. Bitcoin did just break back above 67 just for a moment. There it is again. Good morning, guys in the house. If you guys are hanging out with us this morning, thank you for coming out and, of course, supporting the live channel. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and, of course, all the bells below, guys. Okay. Gammarita. Yes, looks like Gamma hasn't had a Gammarita in months. What the hell? That's when you know shit hits the fan. 100%, GG. 100%. Jake the Snake says, the Snake Whisperer. What that Gamma says. Yeah, okay, so Jake the Snake is here early. Go Gammarita. Okay, Glos is saying, I feel ya. Maple syrup cowboy hat. Me thinking I was going to be rich by now. Oh, damn. For those who know, the sussy syrup cowboy says Jake the Snake. Yeah, we know that guy. Okay, someone airdrop Arita stat, says Jake the Snake. Morning, fam. Good morning, J Money in the house. Lo says I was going to move into a new house. Just stuck remodeling my old house instead. And I sold my house, and now I'm selling everything else I owned. Okay, Jake the Snake says sussy syrup cowboy. Buy Swift coin. Yes, trust me, bro, says Crypto Quint. Sell all your bodily fluids to buy some Miria. Holy shit. Good morning, Strawberry Dragon's also here this morning. Good morning, Strawberry. Maple Syrup Cowboy brought his homeboys back fat and pancake stacks to the stage. What the hell? GG. The Maple Syrup Cowboy sounds like a great male stripper name. Oh my god. Good morning, of course, Strawberry Dragons. Doing the truffle shuffle this morning. Yes, the crypto Maple Syrup Cowboy. You guys are insane. Not me spitting out my coffee right now. Yes. All right, let's get back to it, guys. We got a lot, of course, to continue catching up with the markets. Let's see anything else happening in real time with Kramer and Friends still.
Very strong by Goldman.
Google.
Put it away. Fantastic. Guys are up a lot.
The common was done at 355. You can see
That's
where that
a
is.
great Goldman placement.
They did a converted 351.
Yeah, and Google just broke back into the top, 5? Yep, top 4 right now, of course, above silver. It's been there for, I think, about a week now. Almost. 5-6 days. Let's get back into Doomberg. Or maybe they're actually going to start talking about SpaceX again. Maybe.
Worth just re-emphasizing how extraordinary this is.
Well, that's why.
I know it's 30 billion. The numbers we throw around.
David, honestly,
Google just sold $30 billion worth of stock.
They did it in less than a week.
I know.
Okay, whatever. We're going back to TradFi on Doomberg.
You can see they take 10 points away from the index. Microsoft is off, IBM, Oracle, and Broadcom as well, although Broadcom has done so well, adding, I think, $280 billion in market cap over the last 4 sessions alone. Palo Alto Networks also doing poorly after it jumped so high in the pre-market. In terms of the industry group breakdown, we have more winners than losers. Utilities, energy, and consumer staples, though, are leading. And this is a really defensive indicator when these companies are on the rise, although why be defensive after hitting record high after record high, 6 consecutive closes at a new high, 9 consecutive weeks at a new high. And
all right. We're just running around numbers again. The S&P 500 is down about 0.25% right now. 0.25%. Okay. Let's see what else we can get into. Overall, let's double check with you guys who didn't catch it earlier when we did open. We're going to just kind of review real quick with you guys what we saw earlier with the order books. Again, brought to you by Kim of the White Snow Line. Don't pay for what you get for free. Yes, we don't here. It's my motto.
You stupid!
If it's free, it's for me. That's what I've always said. And yeah, don't forget also to watch my channel on the Brave browser and don't watch any of those YouTube ads. You don't have to buy a subscription to YouTube to enjoy ad-free, of course, on the platform. All right, so yeah, I did show you guys this earlier. I don't think anything else has really changed. We did start to see some bullishness on the short term on Bitcoin on pretty much every key level in the last 3 or 4 hours getting into the market open. And there's a big area right now being added to about 65 and about 60K. That's pretty much where the bulls are setting up shop for possible pullback in the near future. We are starting to get a little bit of a possible bounce this morning. I don't know if it's going to actually be the V-shaped recovery beginning, but it is a place to watch, of course, between 65 and 75,000. This could be the place where we could start to see a bounce. We are pretty damn oversold today. I think we fell, what was it, like 6,000 or 7,000 in the past 24, 48 hours, something like that. Again, we've seen worse, right? We've seen worse. And of course, if you guys didn't see the moment I opened up the live, of course, calling for baseline bear, yet again, calling for baseline bear on the channel. Last night, of course, winning, tired of winning.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
All right, there you go. Right down the center, of course. Baseline bear, another day. Tired of winning. I want to be wrong, guys. I'm tired of being right. All right, so yeah, pretty much the same here. We're still knocking our head on the door of about 67.3 now. Of course, coming back up to retest that. And maybe the next, 45, 50, maybe hour and a half, of course, right before we get into possibly intraday trading session this afternoon. And again, we're still struggling to keep this area above 65. We have not seen 65 yet. I don't even think on a wick yet. Let's double check. Make sure I'm not talking nonsense. We saw 65.3. We have not touched 65 flat or broke it yet. 65.3 on a wick, on a 15-minute wick candle. Cool. All right, so let's continue on. Looking at the overall, metrics this morning for crypto. Let's kind of go through the overall sentiment. Right now, the fear and greed level for the stock market sitting at 56. We're still slipping, guys. We're still slipping. Even with the stock market right now, 56, almost going back to neutral. This is the lowest level we've seen so far this week. Let's take a look at crypto fear and greed, because this was 11 yesterday, guys. 11 was the low on the crypto fear and greed, and it's still there this morning. Again, one of the lowest levels we've ever seen in crypto, period, between 5, 9, and 11. I think those three particular levels of extreme fear we just shot down there yesterday. Also taking a look at the Dixie this morning, now sitting at 9945. 99.45, that's pretty damn high, guys. I don't like seeing that this morning. Testing the highs from last week. Yeah, not looking, of course, great on the month. Nothing but up on the month, up on the 3 month, a little bit, not by much. We could, of course, still start to see the dollar rise, especially right now would be the perfect time for the dollar if we did get a real Iran deal. You guys know we usually beat our chest. We throw a sword in the air, and then the dollar goes to oblivion. Up first and then down later. All right, let's take a look at the crypto bubbles this morning. What are the biggest movers to the up and down side? There's a lot of recovery today. Holy crap! WorldCoin's up 24%. ENA is up 24%. These are dailies, guys. Ondo's up 15%. DXE is up 18%. NIR's up 12%. Lit Lighter is up almost 32%. Venice VVV up another 13%. Jeez, this thing has been ripping within the last week. And then Bitcoin Cash still coming back down another 12% on the day. Good. Send that thing to oblivion. JST, that is just, is falling off a cliff right now. 15% off on that. And Lab continuing the sell-off from the high of 27. Yeah, 27 on LAB. All right, those are the biggest movers today. Looking at the weekly here, Lab is still up about 291%. Humanity is up 118%. XLM's up 53%. Lit Lighter about 50%. And 9-bit up another 35%. We haven't seen that one move in a while. And WorldCoin's up 46% on the weekly. Again, we're looking for assets that are oversold at least 15% or more. And there's only 4 today, guys. There's only 4. We had a lot more yesterday. There's about 6 or 7 yesterday on the weekly. Again, showing you the most oversold assets. Just Tau, BitTensor, good one. SWI, 15.7, good one. JST, 15.7%. And Bitcoin Cash. That is all you got right now in the top 400, top 100. The top 100 that are oversold at least 15% or more. Look at the monthly for at least 30% off, and there is not a damn thing inside except for Bitcoin Cash. Continuing the sell-off on the monthly. 43% off right now on the month. I don't know who's buying that damn thing, or who bought it in the last few years, and of course who dumped it today. I don't know. All right, guys, let's look at, of course, the same thing on the top 200 as we do. What the hell am I doing? What the hell am I doing? Geez, I am jumping all over the board today. All right, looking at the daily, looking at the top 100. Why can't I get this damn thing out of my face? God, Bubbles is going through some updates. All right, one day, on the 1 day here on the top 200, WorldCoin's up 26%. Lit Lighter, we're on the top 100 again, damn it. There we go. We don't have too much moving up on the top 200 right now. Genius is up 15 or 14%. Beat is up another 14%. Sky AI is coming up a little bit, about 7%. UB is down 50% on a single day. That is insane. What happened to this dumpster fire? Holy shit. And then Home is down to 15% today. Let's look at the weekly for anything that's oversold 15 or more. We got UB down 51% because it sold off in a single day. We got Syrup down 22%, Sky AI. There's a bunch here, of course, between the 15%. This has been pretty much the number one place. Although a lot of the ones I was calling yesterday and the day before are not quite that oversold anymore. They're coming down, they're coming up a bit. Like Pendle, for example. Pendle is now only 14% off, coming up back up today. There's a few others like Ultima. Celestia is getting really close to falling, dropping out. Graph. But there's definitely a lot more pain here. This is definitely the Goldilocks area I've been, of course, talking about all week. The top 200 on the weekly. That's where you're going to be looking for the most oversold. Even Luna Classics, 21% off. There's a lot. There's a lot here. It's probably like 20 coins. I can't spend time talking about all of them. Xano, 16% off. Okay, going to the monthly, looking for the most oversold on the month. Again, 30% or more. And there's a few. Sky AI, Monad, Hash, Vision, and Syrup. That's about all I see. Unless you want Fortcoin or Build On. That's about it, guys. All right, so those are the most oversold assets today. Again, not financial advice, but yeah, just my 2 cents. Look at the weekly, guys.
I'd buy that for $1.
All right, getting back in the chat file. Let me catch up with you guys in the chat one more time, see how you guys are feeling. Doing the truffle shuffle this morning, says Crypto Quint. Crypto Quint says everyone was bullish when we hit the $80,000 Bitcoin. Now we're back to 67 and people are flipping bearish. I know, it's ridiculous. If you just simply buy Bitcoin at these levels, wait for it to go, you will never sell your Bitcoin ever again. I assure you, if you just continue to get it, on these lows. How much more dumping can we do, says Crypto Quint. Shit's giving me whiplash. There's still possibility that we do, again, flip a coin, right? Flip a coin, it's possible that we do hit 60,000 or lower. I'm still betting on, of course, a little bit higher just overall based on market cap alone. Shit's gonna be whiplash. Nice. It's going, I'm going long, says Jake the Snake. I gotta go against the trend, sentiment. You crazy bastard. The trend's your friend. The trend's your friend, not the trend. Shilly Red Man. Yes, don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the things. As Jake the Snake, the King of Ohio, reminds me, I need to shill harder. Thank you so much.
Hail the King of Ohio, Jake the Snake, the keeper of wrenches, the painter of lead pipes, the igniter of dumpster fires.
I really needed that swig of coffee. Jake, I appreciate you, man. Thank you again for, of course, supporting me and the channel. Guys, if you guys want to as well, just don't forget to hit the like and subscribe down below. I have bought too much AI last 2 weeks. Too much. Me too. Then I sold some at the range highs, and then I'm buying back again. But I don't know how much more I can buy back because we're not really coming down as low as we were hoping, right? Not just quite yet, but I guess we can do a quick little AI update. But I can't tell you too much if you're not a Patreon member. That's right, it's another little bit more shilly. If you guys want to join the Patreon, again, we're going to do another live stream tonight after the live stream here on YouTube. We do our Patreon only lives on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights after 9:30 p.m. Eastern. For only $15 a month, you, of course, can hang out with us and the Chaos Crew. For less than a bottle of whatever poison, mine is Jack Daniels right now. And, of course, the less than a date with your mom, you can, of course, be a member of the Chaos Crew. All right, so talking about the AI, right? Just real quick. If you guys are not part of that trade, you can get in on that trade if you join the Patreon. I, of course, show you guys all the areas of support and, of course, all the areas of resistance and how to trade and do all the things. You just have to ask me questions over there. It's that easy. All right. So, we're still kind of waiting on this to play out. It's doing the exact same pattern it did the last 2 weeks and the last 2 weeks prior to that, the last 4 weeks total. Of course, we just came out of our V-shaped recovery. We hit sort of a range high, right? If you guys were set up, I sold some at about 36. I had some to sell at 40, our 40, but we didn't quite get there. And then, we were looking at, of course, another rebound or a breakout soon, right? Soon. How soon?
When will then be now?
I don't know.
Soon.
But usually we do break to the upside with overall positive momentum before we get to the bottom of the channel. And we continue to be remaining over and oversold every single 2 weeks. Again, this happens every 2 weeks. So the next range high, if we continue the same pattern again, is going to be at about 30, which we're also looking at these lows down here, guys. The lows could be about as low as 2.2 cents per AI per token. If we hit some of these range lows, maybe too flat. All right, that's a quick little update on AI. I'm sure I'll have more to update you guys on this later. But I did pick up some more today when we did see a rebound down to about 277 this morning. So again, we were starting to build a little bit of support there, but we're for the most part starting to do the same thing we did last time. I would argue and say maybe we're speeding this up, and it's possible that we're actually right here now. It's possible right here now, but I haven't really confirmed that yet. I'm just kind of waiting for this to, of course, verify. All right, let's get back to it, guys. 66,700 on Bitcoin. Yeah, we're still chopping around here, just underneath 67,000 this morning. Okay, let's get back to TradFi, Normie news, and all the nonsense. We're still resilient. The consumers are resilient. Trump rebuilds the tariff wall over forced labor. I actually saw an article this morning. I don't know if they took it down. I saw it earlier. It was like 60 countries looking at tariffs. Where is that? There it is. U.S. proposes fresh tariffs on 60 economies over forced labor trade practices. Let's dive into a little bit of this as well. We have about 8 minutes or so until we get into crypto news. We're of course going to rip into that here. Maybe we'll do that a little earlier, depending on how far along we are. The U.S. proposes tariffs up to 12.5% under Section 301 on imports from 60 economies for failing to ban forced labor goods. Economies with partial forced labor bans face a 10% duty. All others face 12.5%. The move marks a major step in Trump's push to reinstate his country-specific tariffs that were mostly struck down. Washington also sought public comment on the new U.S.-China Board of Trade that could lead to the mutual tariff reductions. All right, and again, guys, if it's not clarity, if it's not tariffs, right? If it's not the Iran war, there's always going to be a narrative, of course, to hold our system, our sector back. So it's always going to be something. All right, let's move on. There's just too many things holding us back, guys. The liquidity, of course, right now flowing into SpaceX. The AI trade, of course, holding us back for the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, it's always going to be something, of course, holding crypto back. But once we're let loose, man, it's gonna blow your minds how crazy crypto is gonna get in the space in terms of price evaluations. I mean, just remember yesterday, I think it was Tom Lee said that a 25x could be in, of course, Ethereum's future. Right now, sitting at $1,866. He said that I think when it was over $2,000. Still. All right, where are we at? Let's get back over to TradFi. So they're talking to Samba Nova right now over on Doomberg. Let's take a look at CNBC, Kramer and Friends. Looks like they're on break, and gives us a good segue to get into some crypto news. Let's start with cryptonews.net. See what else we got that's going on this morning in the crypto world. Bitcoin's fear gauge surges nearly 20%, its biggest jump since February 5th crash. Yes, it has. I showed you guys this briefly. We're sitting at 11 right now. Again, one of the major areas we haven't been there since probably March. 11, 9, of course, and 5 or 6, whatever it was, the absolute low we saw. I've never seen, in all my time in crypto, I've never seen us here, period, or here this long in the past 7 years. So it's kind of crazy that we're here right now in 2026. All right, so yeah, Bitcoin's lack of fresh investors matters more than strategy sale, says Citibank. We can take a look at that and see what they're getting into a little bit more there. Strategy's most recent sale has had an outsized impact on the market sentiment, but the Wall Street Bank Citi does not see this as a move of changing the company's long-term strategy. The bank said the sale was anticipated after Strategy signaled plans to dispose of certain tax-disadvantaged Bitcoin holdings during its first quarter earnings call as a portfolio optimizational effort. That's right. So he sold, of course, some of the Bitcoin that were yet to be expired. That, of course, he purchased, of course, way too high last year as a tax write-off. Recent flows have been negative, and the chances of the passage of the U.S. market structure bill, a potential catalyst of renewed investor interest, in our view, are diminishing. Analyst Alex Sanders wrote on a Tuesday report, markets were rattled this week after Strategy disclosed the sale of a portion of 30 effing coins out of 840,000 coins. It's ridiculous. It's half a drop in a bucket. Markets were rattled this week after Strategy disclosed the sale of about 30 coins. While the company said the transaction was tied to tax planning considerations, the move sparked concerns that Bitcoin's most influential corporate backers could become a seller, contributing to the bout of weakness of Bitcoin and, of course, renewed scrutiny in the digital asset treasury model. They can't sell a majority even if they wanted to anyway. It's part of their credit-backed plan, their strategy. Combined with the Bitcoin's underperformance of relative equities and the fading legislative outlook, it's likely to keep sentiment muted absent regulatory progress or renewed concerns about fiscal sustainability. The report added, the disclosure of Strategy's first Bitcoin sale in years weighed on sentiment this week, fueling concerns about potential selling by digital asset treasury firms pushing Bitcoin lower. The world's largest cryptocurrency was trading about 67,200 at the time of publication of this article. We already went over that too yesterday. An update on strategies, of course, would face bankruptcy if Bitcoin were to go to a certain level. Right now, it's about what, 26,000. Again, last year it was around 17,700. Again, these numbers are probably, of course, unrealistic to ever happen. Again, all right. Clarity Act survival depends on the U.S. Senate getting a lot of non-crypto work done. I guess we could dive into that a little bit. Of course, we did get some priority to schedule floor time on the calendar. Again, to be very clear, we didn't actually get floor time scheduled yet. It's just on the calendar to be scheduled. It was confirmed yesterday. There are about 8 weeks left of floor time available in the Senate before the lawmakers scatter for the summer break and political demands of midterm congressional elections. And they just came back from a 2-week break, guys. The last 2 weeks they've had off. They're going to go back on break again. And as the election season grows more urgent, the appetite for legislation cooperation now could also take a hit. In a brief work window of Congress upper chamber, the Clarity Act will need to go into several procedural steps that can only begin once the market structure bill is finalized. A goal that still requires some big ticket disputes to get ironed out before the political parties and the White House, of course, go on break. The Clarity Act would establish a tailored regulatory regime. We don't need to go into all the hubbub. And there's anything else really here? Must-pass bills. The must-pass bills that we have, of course, that are more priority would be the FISA immigration. Must pass in order to prospect the federal government's continue to function, giving the priority over any other work. And then crypto lobbyists are expressing quiet confidence that they'll be resolved soon. But once they're approved, that doesn't necessarily mean that smooth sailing for the crypto bill, which is also forwardly forward the Senate's calendar this week. Adding some potential drama as the president's insistence that one of the legislative efforts, the FISA bill, is overhauling the U.S. housing regulations, be saddled with the effort to impose voter identification and proof of citizenship at the polls. The traditional midterm elections, which he said would be leading the impeachment of the Democrats' win. All right, so a bunch of more political nonsense. All right, so yeah, we do have a couple of these bills that need to pass, and then, of course, we'll get back to clarity again, hopefully next week, talking about that. Analyst company announces money is flowing into the area. Bitcoin is falling. It will be difficult summer for Bitcoin. Who is this analyst? It says Vettel Lunde, head of research at K33. All right, suggests that Bitcoin could face a challenging summer due to capital shifting towards AI stocks. Don't forget SpaceX. Weakening institutional demand, massive outflows in spot Bitcoin ETFs, increasingly fragile derivatives market conditions. All right. Let's see. Kraken parent Payword plans to offer tokenized IPO access to investors. Await blockbuster debut. I didn't see too many of the headlines covering the MoneyGram on XLM that just announced yesterday, wasn't it? Grayscale launches the lowest fee and U.S. hyperliquid ETF as competition heats up around hype. Looks like Grayscale is getting a hit on that one as well. Payment giant Stripe, Visa, MasterCard said that among the backers to be soon to debut stablecoin platform. So they'll be coming out with more stablecoin rails soon. Crypto packs go undefeated in June. Bitcoin momentum gauge hits on recovery. That's kind of what I was showing you a little bit right now, of course, in the order books. Yeah, showing a tiny bit of a glimmer of that possibility. New decision for China regarding Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I guess here are the details out of China. China, which has strict restrictions on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, has issued a new ruling. According to the Liang District Court in Qingdao City, China ruled that Bitcoin constitutes property under criminal law. Ooh, criminal law. According to the Chinese locals agency Shandong Legal Daily and Liang District Court in China ruled that Bitcoin is considered property under criminal law in a case involving theft of 107 Bitcoin. The defendant, surnamed Zhang, was sentenced to 10 years, 9 months in prison, and fined 100,000 yuan, approximately worth $13,800, for stealing funds used in cryptocurrency from victims' wallets. Recovery statement. Okay. All right, I'm over it. Bitcoin steadies 67,000, faces critical juncture. Bitcoin plunged 65K. I think we're pretty much heading to the nothing articles from the late night or early, of course, morning hours. All right, going, of course, after the morning open or the foreign market close. Let's get back into TradFi real quick. Jump over there, and then we'll get into some more crypto news. It is 10 o'clock now in the United States, Eastern Standard Time. Check in with Kramer and friends. They're back with some breaking news, possibly.
Orders, April number, expecting 4.6, comes in stronger. 4.8, 4.8 would be the best level going all the way back to May of last year. And if we look at the durable good orders, these are all final reads, meaning mid-month gets moved out. 7.9 becomes 8%. Now. 8% is a very strong number. Last time it was 8%. We have to go all the way back to, well, this is the best since a year ago.
We got BB coming up soon.
Now, let's look at durable orders, ex-transportation, up 1.1%. That would equal the last couple months. It's been back-to-back to find a higher number. You're in February, where it was a little bit over 2%. Now, let's look at capital good orders, non-defense ex-air proxy for capital spending, minus 1%. Very close to expectations. That replaces minus 1.1. And even though this is not a terrific number, 3.9% was the best since June of 2020. That was.
All right, I'm going to leave that going for a little bit, but I got to catch up with you guys in the chat. Cliff says Crypto Otaku is really in the Patreon lives too. That's right. I do participate in my own lives. Isn't that a thing? Yes, sir. Lo says he takes his mask off in the live. You stop it. No, you stop it.
Stupid.
Freaking Los. How you doing today, bud? Crypto Quinn says, how many super chats does it take to take the mask off Otaku? We're not going to get into that again. Let's start a hype train, says Crypto Quimp. LMFAO, at least two. Andy coming in here says, yeah, he's got a clip here from George. I'm George, you're George, we're all George. Andy's dropping, of course, a link here. See what kind of breaking news we possibly have from Andy. Justin Lummis fires back at Jamie Dimon. Ooh, what did she say? Ooh, this is juicy drama. He either has read the bill or he wants to mislead people. He has not read the bill, according to Cynthia Lummis in this breaking interview. Anti-money laundering and bank secrecy rules apply equally to digital assets. It's already in the Clarity Act, and that's exactly what her tone was to Senator Elizabeth Warren back and forth when they did, of course, pass it through the committee just a couple weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. Here's Cynthia Lummis in about a minute interview here.
Really distasteful remarks, especially towards Brian Armstrong of Coinbase. I would say
Jamie said he thought was full of.
Yeah, exactly.
Full of.
So here's what.
Rhymes with it.
Yeah.
Here's where Jamie Dimon is absolutely wrong. He either hasn't read the bill or he wants to mislead people. And let's put the best construction on this. He hasn't read the bill. AML, anti-money laundering provisions that apply to banks, and the Bank Secrecy Act provisions that apply to banks also apply into digital assets. It's in the bill. There's something like 16, 17 references in the bill to the application of those laws.
I guess here's.
All right, so yeah, it's all the same thing. Again, I said the same thing when I heard that interview when he said it's going to blow up anyway. You know, it's almost the same exact rhetoric that Elizabeth Warren said at the end of the committee hearing. She's just like, well, when the whole world economy breaks, you'll know it'll happen. I said it first. It's like okay. I want this to be on record, she said. You're going to blow up the economy. Okay, let's see what else we got in the chat. Thanks again, Andy, for that little clip there from Cynthia Lummis this morning. Los, it's going to have to be big on Tito's tonight, and the super chat's coming in. Yeah, you're going to have to really get me drunk one night for me to pull my mask off in front of the camera. Clip says only 3.5 weeks before Congress, July break. Yeah, they don't have much time left. That's right. They said about, they said 8 weeks, didn't they, on that one article? Maybe before the big break. I don't know. There really isn't too much left until we get July 4th off, right? Let's take a look and see what we've got going over here on the Senate calendar. Thanks, Cliff, for bringing this one to us as well. Let's see. Their tentative schedule. Here's April, May, June. This is where we are right now. Looks like they're going to be taking off after the 26th. They're going to have, looks like, 1, 2, 3 days, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah. And then the big one in August. Yeah, the big one in August. So, yeah, they only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in between now and August. Is that right? Well, no, technically, they're back now this week, right? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8. Yeah, there's 8 total before the big break in August, which they're going to be gone for 5 weeks. Is it 5 weeks? 4 weeks. They're going to be off 4 weeks. Is that 5? That's 5 weeks. Yeah, that's 5 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah, 5 weeks from August to September. So this shit's got to get done before August. I mean, that's it. It is possible that they do stay late in August, but I doubt they're going to do that. Yeah, not without a huge, big spending bill like our package, like they did last time with the big, beautiful bill. That's how we kind of got Genius Act based on some of those bipartisan, they threw so much crap in that bill, man. I'm not gonna get into all the details again on that. Otaku has his pants off in the live, says Jake. Damn you, Jake! How dare you! How dare you! I cannot handle your insolence. Do some jumping jacks. Oh God! Stand up, prove me wrong. They don't have pants on right now. No, you're right. You're right. I don't. I'm wearing shorts. Oh my God, you crazy bastards. All right, do some jumping jacks. Okay, so we pay them to take breaks and do nothing. Yes. Well, they also have companies too. They got to get back to running their companies. A lot of these, of course, men and women in Congress own their own companies. This is kind of like a side gig, just to make sure they get these proper bills in there to, facilitate their businesses. Make sure they have a little bit of insider trading going on too while they're at it. All right, let's get back to Doomberg. Let's see what else is going on here. We'll get back into crypto news here in a bit.
Of 8%. Yeah, and again, SpaceX planning to offer shares at $135 apiece to raise $75 billion in the IPO, departing from expectations. And Alphabet ending up selling $35 billion this week in underwritten public offerings. So that's what, $5 billion more than we initially thought. The super duper equity raise.
Yep.
Is what so it works where banks or an institution gets the shares and then sells them, so they get the money that way.
Right. So all the risk is on me because I bought the stock.
All right. Let's get back over to Kramer and Friends.
Hopefully a little bit.
See what they're talking about. Moments away, exclusive interview with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. They're going to be talking to Bibi this morning. Let's see if he's real, Jake. We've been having this discussion for months now. Is Bibi still alive? Because of all those AI videos of him coming from the Middle East. You don't know.
Existential, right? They have to have oil to power their economies. They're going to have to figure out a way to do it. And if that means paying the Iranians, a lot of countries will decide we're just going to pay the fee and deal with the consequences of that with the Americans because we have to power our domestic economy.
Yes,
you're going to see more and more, I think, countries try to strike that deal. And how the U.S. Navy handles that, how President Trump handles that, that's all to be determined. But countries are going to have to do what they have to do the longer this drags on, and especially as we get to this point where oil reserves around the world start to hit empty tanks. That's where the real crisis point hits. And we don't exactly know, even all the oil experts in the world can't give you an hour and a day when that happens, but it does seem like it's on the horizon.
You know, Eamon, the war effort itself, I'm curious to get your...
All right, I don't want to be hearing all the banter back and forth on this. I'm going to keep it on the sidelines here just so that we can keep track of when BB does get back on the TV screen for an interview. Again, we haven't seen him much these days on camera. Most of it, of course, has been those weird AI videos where he's like, his ring disappears or he's got extra fingers or all that weird shit we saw over the past few months. All right, let's see what else we got over here in the chat real quick, and then we'll get back into more crypto news. Spin it like a hell... Jake, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm working here. I can't. I'm not a stripper. I'm not the crypto. What was it? Maple syrup cowboy. You guys are nuts. All right. Let's get back to. Let's get back to more Doomberg. Let's see. Well, we can check on Doomberg real quick, but we're gonna get into crypto.
Ticker MDT currently gaining.
We're talking about Alta. We're not talking about beauty products here. We're talking about crypto. Okay, let's jump into Cointelegraph. Trezor says Safe 7 chip flaw found by Ledger does not put funds at risk. Let's take a look and see what they're talking about here. There's a dispute between both the biggest names in hardware wallet manufacturers. Trezor and Tropic Square disclosed a Tropic 01 chip vulnerability found during a Ledger Donjon audit, saying that Safe 7 wallet and user funds remain secure. Hardware wallet manufacturer company or whatever, Trezor and chipmaker Tropic Square is disclosed a vulnerability in one of the secure elements using in Trezor Safe 7 hardware wallet, saying the flaw does not put the user's fund at risk because the chip alone cannot access or expose a wallet. The vulnerability was identified during an independent security audit conducted by Ledger Donjon, the security research team at the rival hardware wallet manufacturer Ledger. According to Trezor's statement, Tropic Square provided the affected Tropic 01 secure element chip to the Ledger Donjon team for the independent audit. The company said compromising a Tropic 01 alone would not be enough to access the user's wallet, PIN, or funds. Disclosure offers a rare public look at how the hardware wallet manufacturers handle chip-level security flaws and highlights the growing role of independent researchers in testing cryptocurrency service devices. Flaws surfaced during the independent security testing. I find it really interesting that they're sending like their chips to rivals to confirm this. I do love Ledger. I have a whole bunch of them. It's one of my favorite products. So I do love their products, but Trezor, I have a Trezor too, and I haven't used it much really recently these days. But it's kind of funny that they're sending things back and forth. Can you do this? Can you do that? Interesting. I never knew that they did that before. First transparent secure element at the core of the device. Tropic 01 is the first transparent and audible secure element, unlike conventional secure elements that rely on non-disclosed architecture. It allows the community to inspect, verify, and validate its design. The approach that addresses a long-standing issue in crypto security: the need to trust proprietary hardware without insight on how it works. Trezor says the users do not need to take any action at this time. Users do not need to take any action following the disclosure, adding that the vulnerability does not affect the funds stored on the device because compromising alone is not access to funds. We already covered all that. 7 Safe was built with multiple independent security layers. A vulnerability in Tropic 01 does not put the funds at risk. All right, so I guess it's just a recent exploit that's got people a little bit their panties in a knot, and now we're just trying to confirm whether or not that's enough. It seems like they've wrapped that up for the most part. Zcash fixes Orchard bug after emergency network upgrade. How is that affecting the price there on the Zcash? I haven't seen Zcash really move in any big way here in a minute. Probably about a week. It's been about a week. Up 10% on the week. Yeah, it's up 50% on the month still. Looks like it's kind of stalling out right now, but nothing really in the news affecting Zcash is currently at the moment. Would like to see a huge pullback though on something on some sort of exploit or something like that. Zcash fixes Orchard bug after emergency network upgrade. Zcash Foundation said there was no evidence of an exploit. Okay. Let's see. UK regulator warns Premier League club. MasterCard expands the support of USDC, PYUSD, and of course the stable coins. We already mentioned that. Another headline earlier. Bitcoin crashes 65K, triggers 1.8 billion in crypto liquidations. Again, guys, we need another $100 billion. $100 billion. Yes, exodus out of crypto to see some of these crazy lows we saw before. Right now, this morning, we're still holding on to, what? Come on. Where's the market cap? What? This freaking ad's covering market cap. There it is. 2.31 trillion. 2.31 trillion this morning. So still a little bit higher, of course, than that we need to be to see these crazy lows we saw back in February. But some of the coins are still slipping. I mean, like I mentioned yesterday in a big way on both my live streams, I mentioned ADA falling down to some crazy lows we haven't seen since 2.5, and it's getting close to even not brand new low for the year. I mean, look at that, 207. Wow, we had a wick all the way down to 207 this morning on ADA. This is crazy oversold right now. I mean, look at this. These are brand new all-time lows for ADA in the middle of a new bear market. These are not like higher lows on a, I just can't wrap my head around it. I've never seen anything like this before. Charles, you got to save your fucking company, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? Holy crap. Let's take a look at XRP while we're talking about ADA. XRP now sitting at $1.23. Again, we have not seen these lows since February 5th. February 5th. Crazy lows, man. Crazy, crazy lows. It's just crazy. These two, of course, were huge players in the top 10, right? Top 10. Now ADA's sitting in like 14, 15 now, maybe. And XRP has fallen underneath the market cap of Tether. Insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain. Okay. We have BB. We have Netanyahu talking right now. Almost.
Did some other conversations, but we've always found a way. We have so many agreements. We agree on the main things. We want to get Iran, the nuclear program in Iran, finished. We want to make sure that Iran doesn't pose a threat to Israel, to the Middle East, to America, that it doesn't develop nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them, not only to Israel and to every capital in Europe, but to every city in the United States. That's our common goal. That's what we set out to do. And to expand the circle of peace, as the President and I did in the Abraham Accords together. So we have common goals. Sometimes we have, as in the best of families, you have these tactical disagreements. We always find a way to work them out. And we do so as great friends. We can disagree in the morning, and by the afternoon we have common action.
So I was going to say, has your relationship at all shifted with him?
No. This has been a great relationship because he's been the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House. And he respects me, I respect him. We always find a way to work out our differences.
Did he say that you'd be in jail if not for me?
Look, I'm not going to get into the details, but he's been very vocal about the absurdity of this fake trial that I'm going through. You know, they asked me, I don't know if this came up with the last time you were here, but since then.
2 years ago.
Yeah, well, since then, they've asked me in the court, I'm supposed to be receiving gifts. So one of the first things they said to me is, Prime Minister, 30 years ago, your 5-year-old child received a Bugs Bunny gift from a friend. So this trial is ridiculous. The president understands what a ridiculous trial is, and he's been very vocal about that. I appreciate it. So, but it's unraveling on its own. It's just so ridiculous.
Okay, so I know you're fighting that, but on the call, what is your expectation for what the president expects from you now when it comes to Lebanon and fighting Hezbollah?
I think he understands that Lebanon has been taken hostage by Hezbollah. It's basically taken over the country. It's an Iranian proxy that puts all the citizens of Lebanon at gunpoint and uses Lebanon as a platform to launch terror missiles into our cities, to launch killer drones against our civilians. And so if we want to save Lebanon, and if we want to get a Lebanese-Israeli peace, as I do, we have to disarm Hezbollah, and we have to demilitarize Lebanon. And I think that's a goal that, it's not I think, I know that this is a goal that the president and I share. And that's what we have to do. So we're trying to, how shall I say this, degrade Hezbollah so that a free and independent Lebanon can emerge. We're still working on it, but we're en route.
But did you tell him that you would stop in order to get the peace talks going?
No, I think what we discussed is something else. They were firing, Hezbollah was firing these terror missiles into our cities. You know, they hide behind their civilians and they fire at our civilians. Like Hamas in Gaza, they commit double war crimes. And we are responding, and we're targeting the terrorists themselves. The terrorist chieftains, many of them are in Beirut. So they're giving orders to target our cities from Beirut. And we said, if you keep on targeting Israeli territory and our cities and our communities, then we'll take out these terror chieftains in Beirut with surgical strikes. And an understanding seemed to have evolved two days ago, really, that they will not target Israeli territory and we will not target the terrorists in Beirut.
Has that helped?
I'm not sure, because it looks like we're checking this, that they fired into our territory. In this case, if that happens, we'll obviously respond. But I think that on the whole, that's a beginning of a change. But ultimately, the change has to be the disarmed Hezbollah. You know, you can't have these genocidal terrorists taking over this poor country of Lebanon, using it to try to invade Israel the way that Hamas invaded us, murder our civilians, decapitate our men, rape our women. It's just, no country would accept
And
that.
yet you're already facing resistance. I mean, President Macron of France this week said there's no justification for the major escalation by Israel in Lebanon.
No,
How do you respond to that?
The escalation is from Hezbollah. We had a ceasefire. They violated it. Look, the way European leaders cater to radical Islamic minorities in their own countries is shameful, because they know the truth. They know that when we act against Iran, that caused death to America, death to Israel, death to everything in between that is not part of their Islamist radical ilk, they know we're protecting them as well. But they don't have the guts to stand up and line up with the right thing that will save our civilization against these barbarians.
Do you think they're just protecting themselves politically?
Yeah, I don't think they're protecting themselves, because I think ultimately people identify strength and they identify weakness. And leaders, real leaders, have to stand up to public criticism. They have to stand up to fake vilifications. And you have to do what's right for the security of your country. That's what I've been doing in Israel. I've enjoyed not only the support of the people, but the support, the courage, the heroism of our young generation. Everybody said, this is a TikTok generation. They will not fight like you guys fought in your days when I was in the Army for 5 years. They won't do it. They've been amazing, amazing. They fight with such courage, with such sacrifice, with such heroism. So I think it's the strength of our people, the strength of our army, and frankly, the strength of our government, and the ability that I've had to pass the decisions that were not popular in the international community, but are absolutely central to assure our survival. And you know, I'm not the first one to do this. People often talk about Churchill. Yeah, Churchill was hailed as a warmonger. An ambassador is a warmonger. They said, why are you upsetting the peace of Europe? What's this thing? You want to fight the Nazis all the time, and so on. And he said, that's the only way I'll save my country. It's the only way I'll save Western civilization. Well, we're faced with an enemy that wants to destroy our country, that wants to destroy your country, that wants to destroy free democracies everywhere and spread their terrorist ilk around the globe. So when we fight Iran and its proxies, we're not only fighting our war, we're fighting your war, and frankly, Europe's war as well.
And yet, the war is so unpopular in the U.S.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think people don't see the direct connection between the dangers they would face tomorrow with the actions that we're doing today to remove those dangers. And democracies always have that problem. You know, they'll always look at the moment. What's the next election cycle? What's the next headline, and so on? Dictatorships are usually immune to this because they don't really have public opinion to answer to. And the question is, for leaders, it's a big challenge. You know, how do you face, attacks on you, political attacks, vilifications, and so on? You sort of cower under it. You say that there's nothing I can do. I have to stop protecting my people because I'm going to get a bad editorial in the Western press. And the answer is no. No, I'd rather get a bad editorial than a positive obituary. You know, our people have died long enough. And what has changed for us is that the kind of recriminations and the kind of lies that are leveled at the Jewish people over the centuries are now being leveled at the Jewish state. There's no difference. No difference. We deliberately kill children. We perform genocide. We're poisoning the wells.
The haters say there's a difference between being anti-Israel and anti-Semitic.
Oh yeah, they say we're not we're not against the Jewish people. We just don't think there should be a Jewish state. We're not against Americans.
Or we just don't like the Israeli government.
We just don't like. We just don't like. We're not against Americans. We just don't think there should be an America. And it's not the Israeli government. All Israeli governments will fight or should fight to protect our people, or will disappear. So here's the difference, Sarah. In previous times, previous centuries, we were vilified, and then two things happened. We were either thrown out of a country or destroyed in that country, eliminated. And this culminated in the greatest horror of them all, the greatest massacre of them all, the Holocaust. Since the birth of the State of Israel, we're still being vilified. But when they come to slaughter us, we say, no more, never again. And we fight back. And we fight back targeting the terrorists, targeting the aggressors, trying to save the people, trying to save those communities. And believe me, in the Middle East, contrary to what people think, many understand that. And in Iran, you know, I'm embarrassed to say this, but they named streets after me.
I know you said that before.
Squares. Yeah, well, you should say it. Of course, it's taken down by the goons of the regime any moment, because they understand. We're fighting for the good guys.
Why isn't the regime weaker at this point?
It's a lot weaker. It's a lot weaker. The action that President...
They still seem that they have leverage in this negotiation.
The actions that President Trump and I undertook, and that our brave militaries took together in a closeness that we've never had before. And I have to tell you again, President Trump has been the greatest friend of Israel ever. We've never had such a friend in the White House. He's outstripped everyone. And that partnership has degraded Iran. It knocked out their army, knocked out their navy, knocked out their...
but they still control the strait.
Yeah, they control the straits, but I'll tell you what will happen. We've done that, but I could say, you know, we've been, as the U.S. themselves say, we've been the model ally, probably the only truly fighting ally that the United States has today. And we've wreaked a lot of damage to this regime. Not destroyed it, but weakened it. We see the cracks propagating in the regime. We see them they can't hold on to their money machine. They're afraid that they'll lose the ability to even pay their goons. So that they've been weakened. It's not over, but they've been weakened, and that's why it's possible to press them not only militarily but economically with this blockade that I thought was a fantastic idea. So they're still there, but they're much weakened. I think Israel has never been stronger. Iran has never been weaker, and that's due to the partnership between the United States and Israel, President Trump and myself.
Okay, if you would just hang with us for a moment. We're going to take a quick break, Mr. Prime Minister. I do want to talk to you a lot more about Iran, also about the Israeli economy, which is booming, and a lot more. We'll be right back here from the Prime Minister's office in Israel with Prime Minister Netanyahu on Squawk on the Street.
All right. Well, looks like he's alive, Jake. Looks like Bibi's actually alive. We've been going back and forth forever about Netanyahu or Khamenei, the new Khamenei of Iran. Last time we saw him, he was cardboard. And the last time we saw Bibi, it was all AI videos with missing fingers or extra fingers or the missing ring or whatever, back and forth, changing hands. Weird stuff. Let me get back in the chat with you guys. We are waiting, of course, for Netanyahu to come back on stage, or I guess on the world stage on CNBC. Brand new interview, of course, happening live right now. Let's see how the market's reacting so far to this. Looks like SP 500 is still down about about a third of a percent. Bitcoin's down about 1/10%. Really hasn't done anything today at all. Still kind of hanging out here about 66,700, 600, back and forth between 66.9, 767, and of course back and forth to the floor, which has been right around what was that? 65.3 was the lowest we saw so far as of early this morning. Let's get back to the chat and see what else you guys have. Yes, Elmo gives, of course, these events a nice touch. Yes. Freaking Demon says, Crypto Quit in the chat. Wiztrons, good morning, Otaku. Expect ADA to bounce anytime soon. I just looked at the chart earlier. I don't think so. I mean, this thing is just bleeding, man. It looks like a dead cat bounce continuing. That's on the 4 hour. Here's the 1 hour. Look at that. I mean, that just does not look nice. And of course, sitting at all-time lows right now. Literally, all-time lows. All-time. I repeat, not year-to-date lows. All-time lows. Fresh all-time lows. And once it lost, of course, the trend back in February, of course, of this year. Insane. I just can't believe that ADA has lost the top 10. Number one, they lost the top 10, and then number two, sitting at all-time lows in a new bear market, not higher lows from the previous bear markets. I remember buying ADA in the previous bear market of 2022-23, and I thought I was like killing it, buying it like less than a quarter, around a quarter, and then of course we shot up and did some crazy stuff. We all sold it off at the end of 2024 when it was like dollar something, $1.50, $1.20, whatever it ended up being, and then we rode it all the way back down. If you guys still hold ADA, probably a really good time to buy some. I mean, all-time lows. It's ridiculous. Hoskinson didn't have anything great to say about this yesterday. Of course, we covered that. Yeah, Charles is still he's still really adamant about crypto and the future of course, crypto being more agentic use case, etc. But for the most part, yeah, it doesn't seem like he's touting about the privacy aspects on Midnight, but like we have that on like every single blockchain now. We're gonna have that in the future. It's not gonna be a huge deal anymore. I think people are over-analyzing that. Let's see what else we have. Lo says, I wouldn't be surprised if future military involvement will plummet. I don't personally, my response to that was I don't personally believe any of the propaganda on both sides. Wiztron, the Wiz kid in the house. Jake the Snake. Satan Yahoo, wow, Husky lover, damn. Yeah, I'm a stalker lately. I've been quiet, says Wiztron. How you doing, Wiz? How you doing? Let's see. Hollywood has the best deepfakes. Yes, they do. And Iran does now too. Remember those videos on doom scrolling, of course, on crypto Twitter. Wiztron said he's shorting ADA. I'm thinking about closing my short. Ooh, yeah, I mean that's probably. I mean, unless we see a little bit more pain before possibly Clarity gets back into circulation in the news again, we'll probably get a little bit of a relief rally on Clarity. Anything coming out of Clarity in a positive light. That's kind of what we're looking at in terms of narratives. Any coins, of course, affiliated with AI are still, in the short term, probably going to start continuing to pump. Maybe after a little bit more of the, the IPO coming out next week. Not all time. ADA was a penny. ADA was a penny. ADA was a penny? Like, when? Oh yeah, this is okay. That's right. You're right, Michael. This one only goes back to 2022. You're right. Yeah, I forgot. It looks like I only got a listing on Coinbase in 20. That doesn't even make any sense. No, that doesn't even make any sense. 2022, 2021. Okay, I guess maybe ADA only got Cardano only got a listing in 2021. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Let me see. When did ADA get its first listing? Let's see. There we go. All right. So it's probably going to be back on Binance back in the day or something like that. 2017. We're sitting at 10 cents. 10 cents. 2 cents. 2 cents. All right. Pre-2017 bull run, post-bull run, ADA was 1 to 2, 3 pennies. Gotcha. Hoping to buy at 10 cents, ADA. Oh my God. I've never seen a coin in the top 10 ever lose its footing like this and then again trade for lower lows, of course, in the bear market. That's the whole point I was trying to make either way. All right. We got to get back to Netanyahu. He's back there from break.
So it's possible militarily. It's not simple, but I think the larger question is: does Iran really want, another round? I don't think they do, but we'll see what. I think somebody says we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Should Trump? Would you encourage President Trump to make a deal? And how will we know if the deal is in the best interest of Israel?
Whatever I talk to the president, I like to leave into our private conversations. But I can say that we have common goals. We want to achieve them. The president always says it can be done the easy way, could be done the hard way. If you can do it the easy way, do it the easy way. And if you need to, you'll do it the hard way.
So if the deal is not satisfactory that is made to Israel, what would you do then?
I think we have common goals. Let's give a chance to achieve them.
Do you have common goals on how this war should end?
I think it's an open question because the reality is open. You can see that. I mean, things are, I know the president is weighing many options, and we keep in touch. We talk very often. You know, we talk about.
How often?
Once every 2 days, typical. So we talk it out, but I don't think it makes sense to reveal to Iran the subject of our conversations. We're trying to achieve identical goals.
So let's talk about this as a goal. You were very critical back in 2015 when President Obama did the JCPOA, which was the Iran nuclear deal. How do you make sure that this is not just a replay of that?
By not having the same deal, having a better deal, if you have a deal at all.
What makes it better?
Getting the material out and then also having inspections that are, you know what the inspection arrangement was in the JCPOA, in the previous agreement? You have to
Not tough enough for you.
Well, let's see if it's tough enough for any sane person. I mean, it was, we give Iran a month's notice about a place. We have to say where we're going to inspect, and you give them a month's notice. You give them a month's notice, they'll take out all the nuclear material, all the nuclear facilities, and move them elsewhere. You think that's a good inspection regime? I'll just give you one example. There are many other things. They also let them continue to develop centrifuges which enrich uranium for the bomb, make them 20, 30 times more effective during the time that of the deal. That they would have had a nuclear bomb if the JCPOA had gone on without interference, without sanctions that the U.S. imposed, President Trump imposed. They would have had a nuclear weapon by now. And if we hadn't acted in the twin operations of a roaring line and rising line, roaring line, epic fury, they would have had a nuclear weapon.
So how far did you set them back?
Quite a bit. I mean, among other things, we knocked out 20 of the leading nuclear scientists. That sets you back, you know. The guys who were both developing the enrichment, but also developing what we call the weaponization. And so they're gone. There's a lot to work. I mean.
But you want the nuclear material out. Have they agreed to anything like that?
Not yet, but that's the pressure. The pressure is building on them. That's the whole issue. I think we have to see what will happen. You asked me about the Straits.
Yeah, Strait of Hormuz, because they're still effectively controlling it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I think will happen, because I saw this in the in the 1973 oil embargo on the Western countries, because the Arabs organized an oil embargo on us and said we won't supply oil if you support Israel and so on. Okay, so you know what happened after the war? I'll tell you what happened. Everybody shifted. They discovered new sources of oil and energy and new supply routes. That's what happened right after the Middle East oil embargo. That's what's happening now. Not is going to happen, it's already happening now. People are going to develop alternative sources, and they're already developing alternative routes. So instead of all the energy going through the, I have a map here which you can't see, going through the Persian Gulf, it's also going across Saudi Arabia to the Red Sea. And there'll be other opportunities. We can have them going directly to the Mediterranean.
But they can't make up. I mean, this was, what, 20% of global oil exports?
Yes, you can make it up. There's, America exports more. You heard of Venezuela? That's another
coming back.
It's coming back. And there are many things you can do. And that's what will happen. I mean, as a result of this war, you'll see countries scrambling, I think in Asia in particular, but also in Europe and elsewhere, scrambling to develop other energy sources and other routes of supply, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely happening. We hear about. At the beginning of this war, Prime Minister, you were talking about regime change. Why is nobody talking about that now?
Why do you say we're not talking about it? I said the other day.
Because President Trump seems ready to make a deal with this current regime.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that he wants this regime to stay. I mean, one of the things that happens, you can't quite predict when a regime like that goes under. You didn't predict it in a number of cases, not in Romania and not in remember the fall of the Berlin Wall and nobody predicted it, but it happened. Why? Because the cracks were propagating underneath. In fact, you have enormous cracks right now in Iran, and you can't predict when it'll happen. But I said yesterday in a public forum here, I said, look, I believe that ultimately these cracks will propagate and the regime will fall, and we'll do our best to
So
help
you
it
still
happen.
think that that's coming?
I think that we have to help the Iranian people to bring down this regime, and that hasn't changed. But it's not going to happen, exactly at the moment of our choosing. I think they've been enormously weakened. There's just this break between them and the great majority of the people of Iran, which are freedom-loving people. They want democracy. They want good relations with America. They want good relations with Israel. And it could happen. Ultimately, it can happen. These things depend on how weakened they are and how strong the people believe in change.
Who would you like to see lead Iran?
Well, somebody who doesn't want to destroy my country or yours. Somebody who doesn't chant death to Israel, death to America. Somebody who doesn't send terrorists all over the place. And who doesn't try to paralyze the Western world and the entire world with oil blackmail. That's what I'd like to see. Somebody who will give Iran a real future. We don't have a battle with the people of Iran. We have a battle with these ayatollahs who want to murder us and you. It's the same in Lebanon. We don't have a battle with the people of Lebanon. We have a battle with Hezbollah that terrorizes them and tries to destroy us.
But what the backlash is that once you're in these wars, hospitals get hit, citizens get hit, civilians get hit. And then, it's ugly. It's messy.
Yeah, war is hell. Believe me, I've been in a few. I know how bad that is. But we do our best to avoid civilian casualties, unlike the terrorists who do their utmost to inflict civilian casualties. And they don't care about their own people. So, yeah, but you have to decide. The Western countries, the democracies have to decide. Are you going to give immunity to terrorists because your media, your television stations and your social media distort the reality and say, oh, anytime you hit a terrorist, you're causing a genocide. I mean, that means that you give them immunity. They can hide behind, in hospitals, not behind hospitals, in hospitals. Mm-hmm. They can hide in schools and in civilian neighborhoods, and there's nothing you can do. Well, there is something you can do. You can warn people to leave, as we have in Gaza and elsewhere. And most of them would leave. Sometimes they're blocked by Hamas or by Hezbollah at gunpoint. But when they leave, you have to take action. Otherwise, you give them immunity, you'll be finished. And in many ways, Israel is fighting this battle against horrendously unfair and fraudulent lies. And the question is, do you succumb to the lies? You say, well, I can't take the lies, so I'm not going to protect my people. No, I protect my people. We'll fight the lies too. We have to get better at the digital information battle.
The world, the hatred toward Israel is only rising by the day.
Yeah, well, I think that you're right, but that doesn't mean, okay, so they hate us, and therefore we shouldn't defend ourselves. They hate us because we do defend ourselves, and because people distort our defensive action. So what do? Stop defending ourselves? What, submit ourselves to these murderers? Of course not. We have to fight.
You mentioned Gaza. I did want to ask about that because part of the last deal to end that war was that Hamas would disarm. They're still armed and they're still in charge.
Yeah, I think the situation's really changed because right now the communities next to Gaza are flourishing. There's tremendous demand for these Israeli communities. Population is bigger than it was before the October 7th massacre. Why is that? Because we degraded Hamas, because they're now holding a fraction of the territory they had before, which they used to attack Israel. There's now a buffer zone. And yes, Hamas has to disarm. That's President Trump's plan. That's the principal part.
How does he get them to do that?
Well, we'll have to discuss how we get them to do that. But one thing we make sure is they don't have arms smuggled in to arm themselves. That's number one. And number two, they're practically, they're not able to launch the missiles at us. They're not able to do this. So we're closing in on them. And we have to decide when we take action, what kind of action we'll do with the Board of Peace. We're talking about that with the administration.
So that's moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. Not everything is achieved at once. But I think if you look at where Israel was on October 7th, when everybody said Israel's finished, this Iran axis of Iran and Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis in Yemen and so on, Israel has no chance. 2.5 years later, that axis has been shattered. It may still be around, but it's a shadow of its former self. Still trying to attack us, still trying to terrorize us, but a lot weaker. Because of the decisions we made, the partnership with the United States and with President Trump, and the courage, the incredible courage of our soldiers.
The other thing that's happened is that your economy has been remarkably resilient. I was here 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We sat in the middle of the war.
That's the word of the year.
And you said buy
Resilience.
Israel. Turns out that was a good call.
Yeah.
The stock market's at a record high. The shekel has been soaring. Foreign investment is coming in. How resilient do you think that is, especially with some of these criticisms from around the world and growing calls for divestment?
In fact, the opposite is happening. We have enormous investment in Israel. By the way, did you take my advice 2 years ago? You could have made a lot of money.
Not me.
Right?
I just do the interviews.
Now, I'm not a stockbroker, and I'm not. I'm not giving you tips, but I would
Yeah,
say
but you're on
buy
this
anything
channel.
in Israel because Israel is going up. After 2.5 years of war, our currency is the strongest it's been in our history. The stock market is soaring. Our defense and other technological exports are going through the roof. And people are coming to invest. NVIDIA invested here. They didn't do it because of our blue eyes. I don't have blue eyes, by the way. They didn't do it because of that. They did it because they understand that this is a fountainhead, just a tremendous engine of innovation. Here's something I want your viewers to absorb. This is an amazing fact. Okay, the place that has the second country with the most startups, okay, developing startups in the world, not per capita, on an absolute basis,
Is Israel?
is Israel. We're 10 million people.
Also, like,
So you understand that something amazing is going on.
Of course, in Hollywood,
And what has
too.
happened is that I think the war has shown our technological prowess, which is not only true on the battlefield, but true in things like the beepers and other things that you've seen, the pagers, you know.
Yes.
But it's in many other things. But it's true on the civilian battlefield. You know, it's AI, it's quantum, it's robotics, it's all the areas that the deep tech that is changing the world. Israel has enormous talents here, and that's why the companies I mentioned, NVIDIA and all the tech giants are here, giving us a strong competition, by the way. That is, when the government wants to get these high-tech people, yeah, it's fine.
Right.
I like competition, okay. But they're here because of this. And so Israel is at the forefront. Now, I'll give you an example where the same thing is going to happen now in AI and quantum and other areas as happened in cyber. 10 years ago, I said that Israel would be among the top five cyber powers in the world. I was wrong. It's now number 2. In terms of investments in cyber, tiny Israel is number 2 because we may be tiny because we develop it. Yeah. Because we develop the technology, the battlefield technology, which is, you know, the exports is zooming. You know how it's developed? It's like no other country. It's developing with these reserve soldiers and officers who come back to their startups after military service, and they take their battle experience to create battle-tested technologies. And that's, the world understands that. The markets are not wrong. Yes, they understand all the vilifications. They understand that governments...
Threats, divestments.
Yeah, they understand. But they invest because they go, you know, where the money is. It's like, what is it, Willie Sutton? Why do you go to the
Follow
banks?
the money.
You go because that's where the money is. In Israel, that's where the innovation is. There's tremendous innovation in Israel.
What about the election? You're facing an election in a few months, and polls indicate that you are likely to win. You've been in power now, cumulatively, I think, more than 18 years. When do you think this country will be ready for new leadership?
Anytime the people decide. And anytime, as far as I'm concerned, anytime the people decide otherwise, or I decide that I have nothing to do. But there are 3 things we want to do. A, finish the security envelope that we have to make vis-a-vis Iran and its proxies, and I think we're well underway. Number 2, seize the future. Just the way, you know, I really led the Israeli transformation from a semi-socialist economy to a free market economy when I was both prime minister and finance minister. I see the same opportunity today with deep tech. I see it particularly in these AI and quantum driven things that change everything here. And it create the opportunity to do something else, the 3rd thing, which is growing peace with countries in and around the Middle East. At the moment, these contacts are discrete. Yeah, well, we've had, you know,
beyond the initial phase of the Abraham Accords.
You know, I'm not going to give the details, but you know, we had the Abraham Accords, which shocked everyone. How did we make President Trump and I, all of a sudden, out of, in 4 weeks, we had peace treaties with 4 Arab nations. How did that happen? Well, it happened because the geopolitical balance has changed. Same thing is happening now. Because of the war and because of the rise of these deep technologies, which Israel excels in, we have countries in and around the Middle East and far away from the Middle East who are coming to us and saying, we want to partner with you. And I want to partner with them. And the other thing I want to do is move away in America from aid to partnership.
You've said this, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're now working on a memorandum of understanding which will bring down...
But is it going to come sooner than you expect? The
I want it to
midterms
start
are
now.
Now.
I wanted to start now. I wanted to start in the last 2 years of the Trump administration, and I wanted to keep going down and coming to zero. Because I think, I think we've come of age. Israel has a robust economy, and I want us to go from aid to a partnership where we both invest equal amounts and both share equally in the fruits of our genius innovators and technologists. And I think that's very, very important. It will also take away the myth that Israel, is depleting America's coffers.
The critics say it's the welfare
of
the United States.
Look, one of I don't know if I quoted this last time, but one of the senators in the American Senate said, if we had in Israel instead of in Afghanistan, we wouldn't have had to spend $1 trillion. We would spend a fraction of that, which is a few billion dollars a year. But I said we don't need that either. I mean, we appreciate it. I appreciate every amount of help that America has given us over the years. But I think just as we moved away from financial aid, economic aid, we can move away now from military aid and move to a partnership, and that's going to happen. And the last thing I'll tell you is this: I talked to the rating agencies before the war. So I said, how come you're not rating Israel A++? It's the other place where you have this innovation bulldozer, that is changing the world. What powerhouse? They said, well, it's geopolitical risk. 2.5 years after everything that you hear, look at what the markets are saying. They've reduced the geopolitical risk. It was, I think, about 75% on this ladder that they have, and it's now down to 50%. Why is that? Because we delivered these immense blows to the Iran and the terror axis, and Israel is so much stronger, and they're so much weaker. So I'm saying basically to your viewers, come and invest in Israel. It's a good deal. What I said to you 2 years ago.
You said it to you.
No, you're not.
Now it's at the high.
It's not. You're not joining the elevator at the ground floor because it's rising, but it's got a lot more to rise, a lot more to go. And so that's my message to your viewers. Viewers can. Where am I looking at the camera? Come and invest. Come and invest in Israel. It'll be very good for your business.
Well, Prime Minister, thank you very much for taking the time. I know you have a lot going on right now. I'll let you get back to it, but we appreciate
Shilling Israel.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Carl, back over to you.
Sarah, our thanks to you. That's our Sarah Eisen. Remarkable conversation with the Prime Minister in which he talked about U.S.-Israeli relations, some of the tactical dynamics around.
And if you guys didn't catch the beginning of that, he pretty much confirmed the statements that, of course, Trump made back and forth. Some of the quotes that they had in those phone calls. It's like, what are you're raising hell. You're going to raise hell, and basically calling him an idiot and all the other things back and forth. You could tell in his demeanor when he was asked about that. It happened. Pretty much happened. Rhetorical bullshit, says Bill Lake. Yes, 100%. 100%. Just, of course, complete nonsense. Propaganda. Don't believe the propaganda, guys. You guys already know that, I'm sure. That's why you're here. Top is in with the stops as they when they invite retail, says Jake the Snake in the house. It's kind of covering a little bit of the chat, of course, since we were watching this interview with some we call, what is it, Satan Yahoo? Who said that? Pat Stackums? Satan Yahoo, my God. That's funny. I think it's hilarious he's being interviewed on the Money Channel of all channels. Yes, Lowe's, 100%. 100%. That was weird. That was really weird. All right, let's get back into trying to find one more roundup. Getting maybe some doom scrolling this evening.
SpaceX merging with XAI.
All right. Let's get into some doom scrolling. Make sure we haven't missed anything else while that was going on this morning. Overall, looks like pretty much got the same thing. We saw this one, this little clip here. Andy shared with us this morning. This interview happened, I think it was like probably 8 o'clock in the morning, from Cynthia Lummis, basically saying that Jamie Dimon was just saying what his statements last week, or I think it was maybe it was Monday. I thought it was over the weekend when Jamie Dimon said that that Brian Armstrong was full of shit. Yeah, and of course, Lummis is just saying that he hasn't read the bill. And of course, I had a feeling this was going to kind of be the rhetoric because Cynthia Lummis basically rebutted every single thing that Senator Elizabeth Warren had concerns with the bill as being already there. Of course, to ease those concerns that they kept bringing up at the committee hearing 2 or 3 weeks ago. All right, anything else happening here in the doom scrolling? Looks like Michael Saylor is telling everyone to take their vitamin B. Yes, orange pills. Thanks for you to take your orange pill, guys. Samsung is buying into Bitcoin. I've been talking about this now for, I guess, 7 months that they've been getting really big into crypto. Again, I showed you guys that that video I put out last year about Samsung getting into a partnership with Coinbase. That was back here. This big one here about 7 months ago. I posted this video. Yeah, Samsung taps Coinbase to bring crypto to over 75 million Galaxy users. Of course, offering that Coinbase Premium for free to those users. And that was like kind of the beginning of this. And then we got news last week that they were starting to buying into Upbit, a South Korean company. And this is pretty much just going into that as well. Samsung, the largest company in South Korea, just agreed to buy 4% stake in Upbit, the biggest, of course, Korean country crypto exchange. The deal is $408 million. And yeah, obviously Bitcoin is a big part of that, of our space, right? Over $1.5 trillion market cap. Breaking, Iran has attacked the U.S. air base in Kuwait. This is old. Why are we even bringing that up? This is all May 28th. Why are we talking about this? Why is this in my feed? Why is this in my feed? May 28th. We gotta do some more doom scrolling. Yes, more breaking doom scrolling. Sellers are delusional. I'm tired of people pretending that they aren't. Home prices need to drop 30% or more. Most markets, and the number is going to keep growing. Again, of course, the everything soft continues. That's what should happen if we're going to really start resetting the market and, of course, bringing down some of the inflation. Just in $12.6 trillion, Charles Schwab launches 24/7 Bitcoin trading futures. Looks like we're going to continue to have more futures trading at 24/7. We had the first one pop off last week. Of course, that was the CME on Sunday. Mark Cuban dumped Bitcoin. Tom Lee thinks that's a signal. Of course, this is old as well. Oh, this stuff's old news. Tom Lee said this last week, basically saying that that's usually a bottom signal when you start to see people capitulate and get on out. Just in Visa, MasterCard, Stripe to launch crypto stablecoin platform. We already covered that this morning. So again, kind of just going through the paces, confirming that we're all caught up on the news. Jack Mahler's post, everyone wants to buy the dip until it's time to buy the dip. And then no one wants to buy the effing dip. That's what I've been saying for years too. No one wants to buy Bitcoin when it's at 60,000. Guys, you had 45 minutes to buy it last time it dropped to 40K. Or 60K, I'm sorry. 60K. 45 minutes. That was it. That was all you got. And then you had about 50 days, 30 days. Was it 30 days? I have it on my chart. You had about 30 days to buy between 60 and 63,000 at those lows. It's on one of my charts. I think it's on this one. Did you buy the dip? Did you buy the dip? I've been buying $10 of Bitcoin every single day since the beginning of the Iran war. Yeah, so you had about this amount of time here to buy the dip between 60 and 63,000. 34 days. And again, you compare that to all the other previous lows of Bitcoin at the all-time lows in the previous bear markets, and it's pretty much halved every single time. This could be the bottom. I would say 65%. It's the bottom. It is the bottom. Let's see. A guy just vibe coded his ceiling into the live version of the sky above his house. That's pretty cool. Jesus. Okay. He lives directly under the San Francisco International Airport's takeoff path. Now every plane that flies over his roof now appears over his bed in real time. That's pretty cool. Why is Coin Bureau showing me this shit? That's the real question. Why is Crypto Quitter showing me this shit? But it's pretty cool.
What are you, stupid?
All right. Jim Cramer just called everyone who owns crypto an idiot. Did he? I swear that video is old when he said that. I'm pretty sure that they have that clip there. That's a really old.
They didn't want regular.
Yeah, this clip here. I remember this. Pretty sure that was like Christmas of 24 or Christmas of 25. This is really old.
I think that crypto. I mean, I sold my crypto. I announced everything on TV.
Yeah, December 23rd. This is an old clip. Why are we bringing this shit up? Come on, Simply Bitcoin. You can do better than that. I hate when people mislead people. All right, he said that a long time ago. Successfully wasted my adult life in crypto. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. If you invested in all these assets, you have wasted your time and your money and your life in crypto. Just buy Bitcoin, guys. It's going to be that simple. It really is that simple. Bitcoin has dropped from 74K to 66K in 2 days. Again, this is old. I talked about this last night. These candles aren't even that big, man. Come on, bro. The biggest candle we've seen so far is about, was it $20,000 at the downside, I think? That was the biggest candle we ever seen, period, in Bitcoin's history. And then the biggest candle we ever seen to the upside was about 13K to the upside. Again, these come on. These are dips for ants, in my opinion. Breaking, the SEC has officially designated Bitcoin as the crypto as a key focus in the 5-year playbook. The SEC. Tim Scott declared the act ends crypto confusion. Senator Tim Scott says that the Clarity Act could end years of regulatory uncertainty surrounding the digital assets of the United States. And he argued that the rules have pushed innovation overseas while exposing customers to greater risks. Again, this is not old. This is old news. Old news. Former World Bank president just sounded the alarm, revealing that the Federal Reserve has lost over $1 trillion and counting, turning it into nothing more than a massive hedge fund for the rich and the powerful. He claims the Fed is borrowing money from banks 5.4% interest and then pouring it into government bonds and then creating an illusion that the government's financial situation is better than it actually is. He warns that the scheme isn't just limited to the United States, it's happening across central banks worldwide. All right, let's get a little bit of a 2-minute interview from David Malpass, former World Bank president.
$1 billion, and counting. It's going to be a gigantic loss. What it does is borrows money at 5.4% from banks and then dumps it into government bonds. So think what that trade does. That causes the government to think that it's better off than it is. And so that encouraged the government to be short when rates were zero. So why did the government borrow so much in T-bills? Well, because the Fed was buying the bonds and it made it look like yields were going to stay low for remember the low for long phrase. So we've got these multiple problems that are going on, and it endangers the dollar. So that's the basic case.
Instead of the Fed having such large balances, wouldn't the private sector be starting businesses and risking capital and bringing returns and adding to growth? Wouldn't all that money be better if it wasn't with the Fed?
That's right, and we're depending on private equity. So as the banks get squeezed out, because they're lending so much to the Fed, it's literally a floating rate loan from banks to the Federal Reserve so it can buy government bonds. So if that were freed up, that would allow the banks to at least consider a small business loan, an inventory loan, the kinds of things that help the economy grow. And this is on a global basis. It's not just the Fed. It's all the major central banks doing the same thing, meaning taking money from the economy in order to buy government bonds. We need to be clear on that. I heard the previous segment, they talk about money printing. There isn't any money printing on it. It's just money borrowing, and they pay top dollar for it. The Fed pays 5.4 to banks and 5.3 to money market funds, so to the Fidelity and Vanguard and so on.
You think that?
Oh boy, it continues. It continues. The biggest Ponzi scheme in the world. Adam Beck says, I think the $500,000 to $1 million Bitcoin is closer than people think. In the next 24 months, potentially. coming from Adam Back. A huge win. Scott Besson confirms that there will be no centralized digital currency. Fantastic reassurance. Well done. It's still, you still have, of course, these stablecoin issuers purchasing treasury bills. Sailor buys 2,000 Bitcoin. Sailor sells 32. Boom! Exactly how the candles look. But again, I have to reinstate. I remember every time that Michael Saylor used to purchase Bitcoin, we would see these candles to the downside anyway. The narrative has definitely changed over the years. Trump on whether Netanyahu manipulated him into the Iran war. I mean, I'm the one who started it. I started it because we can't let him have nuclear weapons. Again, it's the same rhetoric and whatever, yada yada. Imagine being a 14th century peasant and seeing this. Oh shit, man! I would love to go back in time and just play with the locals. It's insane. Stay humble, stack sats, 100%. Our business objective is increase Bitcoin per share. That's of course coming from strategy. More than 100,000 protesters rally against Ivanka and Jared Sazan's island project in Albania. Anything else? It's kind of the aftermath of Kuwait's international airport following an Iranian attack last night. Damn. It continues. President Trump 3 hours ago. Years ago, I bid $500 million to rebuild the UN complex, marble floors, mahogany walls, best of everything. They chose another plan, cost $2.4 billion. Far worse, massive overruns, no marble floors. I was right, of course. Okay. That's about it, guys. I think we pretty much confirmed everything in the news that we had to hear about today. Oh boy. Some more psyop anime too. It's starting to look like Akira, the opening scene from Akira. For those who know their anime. All right. Anyway, I'm not sure what they're pertaining to in this. Maybe another disease about ready to be spread. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything covering Salamis this morning. That's pretty much everything caught up today. One more. Bloomberg Bitcoin ETF outflows are noise. Within the last, of course, week, we've had some of the biggest, outflows in terms of length of time. I think it's like the last 12 days. Roughly $3 billion has left the spot Bitcoin ETFs. That's a market that still holds around $100 billion in assets. Meanwhile, the Wall Street continues to expand its crypto footprint. The adoption trend remains intact, and of course, this is Balchunas confirming this on Bloomberg.
Join me in calming all the, quelling all the concerns that there's something bigger going on here.
Yeah, this is people. I mean, you guys work in the crypto media, so you're even probably more chill than most people, but the regular media loves it when bad things happen to Bitcoin. And so they're all over this. I just saw Wall Street Journal, brutal outflows. Yeah, they're over that. And this is all so absurd.
I agree.
Dave knows better than anybody, having worked at State Street, that we sometimes see flows out of SPY or VU or IVV. These are the big S&P 500 ETFs. It's no big deal. I mean, if anything is within 5% of the assets, it's totally meaningless. It's just noise. But I will say, Bitcoin has been down. It went on a 50% drawdown just about. And for it to be about even year to date in flows, that's even with the recent outflows, it's about flat, is a minor miracle, frankly. Normally, when you have these sort of higher volatile, I call them hot sauce type strategies, the money is less sticky. Bitcoin kind of broke that mold. It's almost got S&P 500 stickiness. And so when I look at the flows since inception, which to me is the most important number, that's the one to watch. So you look at the flows since inception, the cumulative number hit 63 billion. That was the high water mark. It's now come down to about 57. That's pretty close to its high water mark. So, I mean, considering a 50% drawdown, that is extremely durable. So if the price were to go back up, if it goes on a nice run, it won't take long before it reaches back to that new high water mark. The other thing I would say is 63 billion in 2 years and change is absurd. Again, this was the biggest ETF launch by far, multiple times over. And iBit in particular, I think it still has 55 billion or something. Even though it hit 100 billion in 18 months, which again shatters all records, even if it's stuck at 50 billion until the year 2030, it would still be the fastest ETF to hit 50 billion. So it has 4 years to just do nothing, and it would still be the fastest ETF to 50 billion, which is, again, just gives you some idea of how amazing the flows have been. So when someone looks at this, it's almost like looking at Michael Jordan and be like, oh my God, how come he only scored 32 points and not 34 in this one game?
Wow, that's a pretty clever metaphor there. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much exhausting the news now. Just kind of catching up with you guys one more time before we head on out. Again, Bitcoin sitting at 66.5. It's about the same spot we, of course, started today, and we're down about 0.25% this morning so far. Again, if you guys are just joining us, calling for Baseline Bear. Baseline Bear right down the center, of course, this morning. Nothing has changed. Just another Groundhog Day. Yes, another Groundhog Day. Same shit, different day. Winning, tired of winning. All right. Anything else in the chat? Manbush, tell them to buy Bitcoin. Yes, I demand it, Jake. You and Manbush should definitely go around and tell everyone in your local communities to buy Bitcoin. Got a dip for the Fiat Factory meeting. Have a good day, guys. I will see you again tonight. Of course, tonight is our Patreon, of course, only live at 9:30 p.m. after the live stream here on YouTube. We're going to, of course, do our exclusive Patreon for the Patreon, Chaos Crew. If you guys want to become a Chaos Crew member, it's only $15 a month. This is the best way to support me and my channel, as YouTube takes about 33% of everything I do over here. So thanks again, guys, for all of your love and support, and I'll see you all again tonight. More chaos, of course, this evening. Later, guys.
Fly me to the moon, let me trade among the stars. Let me see what freedom's like without money and gold bars. In other words, hold my key. Oh! In other words, let's make history.
Thanks, guys, coming out again and supporting my live stream. Crypto Quint, you're number 1 today. Jake the Snake this morning, number 2. Cliff, number 3. And Los, number 4. Thanks again, guys, my top fans today, this morning. Thank you for the live stream. Thank you, Crypto Quint, for coming on out today. Peace, Taku, peace. I can't believe, we had Netanyahu out there. He's alive. BB is alive. He's not just AI. Nonsense. Gamma Goddess, of course, yes. Thank you so much for all the hearts in the chat. Have a safe and peaceful day, everyone. Of course, the same to you as well, Gamma. Have a good night, guys. I will see you again, 8 p.m. Eastern. Later.
Watch the cash burn, land fade. A new world rises, we've made the trade. The robots are racing, and he's taking the crown. But we're the ones that won't back down.